Now in the last question of our seminar, we have to work backwards. Notice we have two solutions to this quadratic, and what we want to do is we want to find what the equation that will give us that from this graph. And well, notice I got one at -1 and one at 1. So I work backwards. So in other words, on this problem, I know x equals 1 or x equals -1. Well, to make it equal to 0 then, I'd add 1 to both sides here. So x plus 1 equals 0. Whoops. Try that again. How about we subtract 1? Try that again. Okay. So we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So I put x, I meant 1. So then we get x minus 1 equals 0. On the other one, we're going to add 1 to both sides. So we're going to say x plus 1 equals 0. Well, then we're going to use the zero product property. So we're going to say, oh, that means x minus 1 times x plus 1 equals 0. So then I'll get x squared minus 1, right? Because we take positive x and negative x, they cancel out. We get x squared minus 1 equals 0. So normally I'd say y equals x squared minus 1. But we run into a problem here. First off, notice it's a sad parabola. Since it's a sad parabola, I know I have to multiply my whole equation by -1. So I'll get -1 times x squared minus 1. And in other words, we get negative x squared plus 1. Now, my other issue is, notice my y-intercept is at 2, isn't it? So I can't just change it to a 2 because that won't make it factorable. I multiply the whole equation by 2. So I go 2 times negative x squared plus 2. Or negative 2x squared. And I went ahead of myself. That was a 1 in there. Sorry about that. And then we get plus 2. I want to write the answer right away. Now, let's check. When we graph that, do we get this same equation? Now, we could go through graphing it by hand, but I think I'm just going to use decimals. So I'm going to graph negative 2x squared plus 2. So if I type in y equals negative 2x squared plus 2, do I get that same graph? Yes, I do. That one checks. So our answer is negative 2x squared plus 2.